Hello students, in today's session we will answer the model questions that are likely to be given in NEET and KCET examination of the academic year 2021. This is the part 2 of our new series on preparation for NEET and KCET. Multiple choice questions have been answered of the physics for chapters 4, 5, 6 and 7. As you know, important steps in solving these problems are: first step is to decode the concepts, and second step is to identify the formula, and third is focus on the questions, that is focused on the requirements in the given question. Let us Before we take up the actual questions, we should know what is Karnataka Common Entrance Test. The KCET exam pattern 2021 will consist of details of questions, weightage, type of questions. The KCET is a state level examination, also called Karnataka CET. Karnataka Examination Authority will organize this exam for providing admissions to the students in engineering, pharmacy and other courses offered by various colleges in Karnataka state. It will be organized for providing admissions to engineering, BTech and other professional courses in the state of Karnataka. The exam mode will be conducted via offline, that is pen and paper based test. Courses will get admission. The candidates will get admissions in engineering, technology, pharmacy, Ayurveda, homeopathy and other science courses. The subjects will be physics, chemistry, mathematics and biology. Whereas NEET examination will have examinations for physics, chemistry and biology, whereas KCET will have an additional subject, mathematics. The type of questions will be uh, objective types, and the duration of examination is 80 minutes for each section, that is 80 minutes for physics, 80 minutes for chemistry, 80 minutes for mathematics and 80 minutes for biology. The examination will be conducted in 4 sessions, that is morning session, afternoon session for 2 days. Language of the question paper will be English. Students will also have option to choose the regional language Kannada. Students will only use black or blue ballpoint pen to mark their answer. Marking 1 mark will be given for each correct answer. There will be no negative marking in this examination. Please note, there is no negative marking in this examination. In case of more than one answer for each question will be considered as a wrong answer. That is, if you mark 2 answers for one question, then it will be considered as wrong question. I request all of you to continue visiting the website https colon slash slash cetonline.karnataka.government.in KEA for keeping yourself apprised of the latest development. So far, the examination dates have been announced as 28th of August and 29th. But anyway, you are requested to visit the website, Karnataka CET website, continuously for latest announcement and follow them meticulously. There is another chance for the students for answering mock test. If you are prepared very well, the National Testing Agency India, a premier autonomous testing organization for conducting entrance examination for admission in higher education institution, have launched a mobile app called National Test Abhyas to enable you to make mock tests for various competitive examinations such as JEE Main, NEET, UGC NET and other exams under NTS purview. The app has been launched to facilitate candidates access to high quality mock tests in safety and comfort of their homes. Since NTS test practice centers were closed during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. With this facility for you, the India has taken the lead in restoring a semblance of normalcy in one more crucial area, that is education. So, candidates across the country can use the app National Test Abhyas to access high quality tests free of cost in a bid to fully be prepared for upcoming JEE, NEET and other competitive examinations like KCET. So I request all of you to attend these mock tests as and when you are fully prepared. These tests can be downloaded and taken offline, thus facilitating you with low bandwidth internet connections. The app also works on Android based and iOS smartphones, tablets, and can be downloaded from Google Play Store or App Store. Once candidates download the app, they simply need to sign up or register with some basic details, create a free account, and then start accessing mock tests free of cost for their selected examinations. In addition to NTA, in addition to this, the NTA has developed an extensive support system at websites nta.ac.in/abhyas/help with live help available every day between 12 a.m. and 9 a.m. The National Test Abhyas is also available on websites nta.ac.in/abhyas and Play Stores, playgoogle.com, store apps and details and as per the details given in the respective websites. So please access and attend these mock tests for your own good. Having studied the question and answer session of chapter number 4, let us recapitulate all the formulae which we have learned in this chapter. Formula number 1, Biot-Savart law, which states magnetic field due to current element. It is given by the formula dB is equal to mu naught over 4 pi into IDL sin theta by r square, where dB is the magnetic field, mu naught is the permeability of free space, I is the current through the element dl, and theta is the angle between dl and r is the radius. Formula number 2, force acting on a charge moving in a magnetic field. F magnetic, that is magnetic force, is given by Q into V cross B, that is cross product of velocity and magnetic field, and Q is the charge. It is also expressed as Q into V into B sin theta and n hat, where n hat is a unit vector in the direction of magnetic field. Question formula number 3. Magnetic field on the axis of a circular current loop, that is given by B is equal to mu naught into I into r square divided by 4 pi into r square plus x square whole to the power of 3 by 2. Formula number 4. Magnetic field for an infinite length of conductor, that is given by the formula B is equal to mu naught into I divided by 2 pi r. Formula number 5. Magnetic field at a point on the axis of a solenoid, that is given by the relationship B is equal to mu naught into N into I, where N is the number of turns on solenoid. Formula number 6. motion of a charged particle in a uniform magnetic field. So the radius of the motion charged particle is given by R is equal to M divided by V into Q into B, and the period of motion is given by T is equal to 2 pi M divided by Q into B. Formula number 7. Torque on a rectangular coil in a uniform magnetic field. Torque is represented by the symbol tau. Tau is equal to N into B into I A sin theta, where N is the number of turns, B is the field in magnetic field, I is the current, and A is the cross section area of the coil. Sin theta is angle between the current element and the coil. Formula number 8. Force per unit length acting on each of the two straight parallel metallic conductors carrying a current I. Force per unit is represented by small f, that is capital F, divided by L. L is the length of the conductor, equals mu naught into I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r, where I1 is the current through element A and I2 is the current in the conductor B. Formula number 9. Deflection in a moving coil galvanometer. Deflection is proportional to the current I, and that is given by the relationship phi, that is deflection is equal to NAB divided by K into I, where N is the number of turns, area A is the area of cross section, and B is the magnetic field divided by the constant, restoration constant, and I is the current. Formula number 10. Conversion of galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter. You know, we can convert galvanometer either as an ammeter or as an voltmeter. For converting into a voltmeter, the relationship is given by V is equal to Ig into Rg plus R. That is, a series resistance is connected to convert galvanometer into an voltmeter. For converting it as an ammeter, it is given a parallel resistance Rp is connected, and Ip. Rp is also called a shunt resistance. Ip into Rp is equal to Ig into Rg. This is the relationship. Formula number 11. Magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. So magnetic dipole moment is represented by capital M, that is equal to EVR divided by 2, where E is the charge of an electron, V is the velocity of the electron, and R is the circular orbit. It can be represented as M is equal to N into EH divided by 4 pi into ME. Here N is the shell number in which the electron revolves. N is equal to 1 for Bohr's magneton. E is the charge of an electron, H is a Planck's constant, and Me is the mass of an electron. Now let us take up our regular lessons. We will start with chapter number 4 on moving charges and magnetism. Question number 1. In a certain region of space, electric field E and magnetic field B are perpendicular to each other. So E is a vector and B is also a vector. An electron enters perpendicular to both these vectors, both the fields, and moves undeflected. Please note undeflected. And the velocity of electron is given by, there are 4 options A, B, C, D. You have to examine all and analyze. Let us analyze. We know Q into E equals QV into B, where V is the velocity, Q is the charge, E is the electric field, and B is the magnetic field. Therefore, we is simplifying Q and Q gets cancelled in this equation. So, correct answer is E by B. Mark the correct answer. So, let us mark it. So, here again the correct answer, that is A, you have to encircle your answer. In the examination, you have a full-fledged sheet of 60 marks in KCT examination and 45 questions in NEET examination. So all these 60 or 45 questions will have an answer sheet separately. This answer sheet we have also replicated in our video and it is given in the end. So against question A, you have to encircle your correct answer. So your choice is A. Next question. A deuteron of kinetic energy 50 keV is describing a circular orbits of radius 0.5 in a plane perpendicular to the magnetic field. The kinetic energy of the proton that describes a circular orbit of the same radius inside the same vector B is, you have four options: 25 keV, 50 keV, 200 keV and 100 keV. You have to analyze it. Now we know, apply the formula K is equal to Q square B square R square divided by 2 into M. Therefore, from this formula, all the others are given and constant. So, K is proportional to 1 over M. Therefore, K is equal to 100 keV. So, the correct answer is keV. Let us mark the correct answer as D. Next question. To convert a moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter of the given range, we must connect. You have to select the correct option. Four options are given. We know very well. Please see the diagram. A galvanometer G is connected is shown in the first line. That is, the internal resistance of the galvanometer resistance is Rg. So that in order to convert this moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter, we have to connect it a shunt resistance. Shunt resistance, small rs suffix s, rs is shown here. So the galvanometer becomes ammeter when you connect a resistance in parallel, that is a shunt resistor. So this equivalent resistance becomes Rg, that is galvanometer resistance, into Rs divided by Rg plus Rs. That is approximately equal to, Rg is far greater than Rs. That is approximately equal to Rs. So we have to, the correct answer is, we have to connect a suitable low resistance B in parallel. That is the correct answer. Question number 4. Two particles A and B with same charges and different masses MA and NB respectively are moving in a plane inside uniform magnetic field which is perpendicular to the plane. The speed of particles are VA and VB respectively, and the trajectories are as shown in the figure. So this is the figure shown here. So two particles A is here upper one and B is lower one, are in a plane. Okay, they are moving in a uniform magnetic field. These dotted circles are uniform field which is perpendicular to the plane of the paper. Hence, their trajectories are, the speed of this A and B are given as VA and VB. So, what we have to find is, the four options are given. We have to find the relationship between mass of a particle A into velocity of A and mass of B and velocity of B. So, four options are given. We have to analyze. We know here, if you see, radius of A is greater than radius of B in the figure. So, radius of A is greater than radius of B. That means MA into VA divided by Q into B is greater than MB VB divided by QB. Therefore, MA VA is greater than MB VB. Our correct answer will be B. Next question. Two long and straight wires A and B are carrying currents 8 amps and 5 amps in the same direction. These are separated by a distance 4 centimeter. What is the net force on 10 centimeter section of the wire? So we have to apply the formula. Four options are given as it is. We have to apply the formula. F equals mu naught Ia Ib divided by 2 pi d into L. That is, we have to substituting the value. Ia is 8 amps and Ib is 5 amps, and the distance between them is 4 centimeters. This 4 centimeters has to be converted into meters by dividing by 100. That is, centimeter is 4 by meter. Centimeter becomes meter by dividing 100. Similarly, we are required to find the force on 10 centimeters section of the wire. So given length is 10. Therefore, that is equal to 10 by 100. So substituting and simplifying, we get the answer as 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 newtons. So correct answer is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 newtons. So answer A is the correct answer. Now we will take up the next question. Question number 6. Two wires of same length are shaped into a square and a circle. If they carry the same current, ratio of magnetic moment is. So we know magnetic moment. Please underline magnetic moment. See, the question asked is regarding magnetic moment, and you have to identify the formula. Formula is M1 is to M2, magnetic moment due to a square shape as well as into a circular shape is given by respective areas. That is A square. Rectangle square is A into A is to pi r square. Area of the circle is pi r square. Therefore, the ratio is pi is to 4. Therefore, that is equal to pi is to 4 is C. Next question. Current sensitivity of a galvanometer can be increased by decreasing. So question is, we have to increase the current sensitivity of a galvanometer. How do we do it? So sensitivity is increased. Sensitivity is given by the formula voltage sensitivity Vs is equal to current sensitivity Cs divided by the galvanometer sensitivity G. That is equal to Vs by Cs equal to 1 over G. So Vs by Cs is equal to 1 over G. So the correct answer is by decreasing the torsional constant K, we can increase the current sensitivity. Question number 8. An electric current passes through a long straight copper wire. At a distance of 5 centimeters from the straight wire, the magnetic field is B. The magnetic field at 20 centimeters from the straight wire could be. See, we know that the magnetic sensitivity is directly proportional to 1 over R. That is the distance. So therefore, in first case, it was when the distance was 5 centimeters, the magnetic field is B. When you increase the distance to 20 centimeters, what happens? We have to find out. Now when we increase the distance to 20 centimeters, let the magnetic field B dash, that is equal to B by A. So B is 5 into 5 B by A, that is B by 20 into 5, that is equal to 5 B by 4. That is the answer. So the correct answer is B by 4. Next question. A wire in uniform circular loop of 1 turn carrying a current produces a magnetic induction B at the center. So here it is a circular loop. Please note here, circular loop. of 1 ton, number of turns is 1, and carrying a current produces a B, induction field, magnetic field B. If the same wire is looped into coil of 2 turns and carries the same current, the new value of magnetic induction at the center is. So now N becomes 2. So we know we have to apply the formula. Apply the formula. B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2R. Now that was with 1 ton. So when the number of turns are increased to 2, it is mu naught into 2 into current is I, current is same, that is divided by 2 into R. Now the R is, now the R is reduced. So R becomes R by 2. That becomes, simplifying, 2 gets cancelled. That becomes this mu naught I divided by 2R is B. B, that is, it becomes 2. This denominator 2 goes up. Therefore, it becomes 4 times B. Therefore, the answer is C. Next question. A circular coil of radius A carries an electric current. The magnetic field due to the coil at a point on the axis of the coil located at a distance r from the center of the coil such that R greater than capital R and varies. We have to understand the question. So he is asking what is the R, the value of B when R is increased. So understanding, we know the formula. B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 into R2 plus R square whole to the power of 3 by 2. So I will repeat the formula. B is equal to mu naught I R square divided by 2 into R square plus R square whole to the power of 3 by 2. When small r is far greater than R, B becomes mu naught I into R square by R cube. Therefore, you please note, for in this particular case, B is inversely proportional to R cube. So we have to search for the answer. So the correct answer is B is inversely proportional to the cube of the distance. Question number 11. A solenoid has 1000 turns per meter length. That is, in 1 meter we have made 1000. N is equal to 1000. If a current I is 5 amps is flowing through it, then the magnetic field inside the solenoid is, see, this is simply application of the formula. We have to use the formula B is equal to mu naught Ni. That is, mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. That is permeability constant of magnetic field into number of turns 1000 and current is 5 amps. Simplifying, we get 2 pi into 10 to the power of minus 3. The answer is A. Next question. Currents of 10 amps and 2 amps are flowing in the opposite direction. Two parallel wires A and B respectively. So this is the case of parallel conductors A and B, where currents 10 amp is flowing in a wire A and 2 amps of current is flowing in wire B. The length of A is infinitely long, infinity, and B is 2 meter long. So 2 meter long wire is there. So then we have to calculate then force on wire B, which is situated at 10 centimeters from A is. So all the data is given. We have to substitute in the formula. You have to remember the formula. F is equal to mu naught I1 into I2 divided by 2 pi R into L. All these formulae are given and we have worked out in your theory. Please open your textbook and see the formula and remember them. So substituting, we get F is equal to 8 into 10 to the power of minus 5 newtons. That is, the correct answer is A. So you have to use this formula. Please remember. Next question. If distance between two current carrying wires is doubled, then force between them is distance, that is B is inversely proportional to R. So the correct answer is it will be doubled. If the distance of the two current carrying wires is doubled, then the force between them is, we have to use the formula, it will be doubled. So here you should know D is doubled. Okay, so you have to use the formula which is directly proportional to the length, that is the distance between the two conductors. Question number 14. Two thin long parallel wires separated by a distance d carry a current of IA in the same direction. They will, first what will happen? So two thin long parallel wires, it is once again the case of two conductors separated by a distance d, carry a current of I in the same direction. Both are carrying the current I in the same direction. IA is equal to IB here in this case. So you have to see the formula. Attract each other with a force of mu naught I square by 2YT. So we have to understand it, and the correct answer is A. So both attract each other with a force mu naught into I square divided by 2 pi. This is the basic formula you have to remember. And distance, the distance d is 2 pi d, inverse proportional to ID. So your current is in the same direction, so attraction. Next question. The coil of a moving coil galvanometer is wound over a metal frame in order to. Here the question is, why do you wind a coil, a moving coil? Why do you a moving coil of a galvanometer is wound over a metal frame? That is, what is the reason? We have to remember. This arrangement provides damping in the direction of eddy currents. So the purpose is to provide damping. So the correct answer is D. That is, it provides, the winding of the coil provides electromagnetic damping. You have to remember this. Next question. If in a moving coil galvanometer, a current I in its coil produces a deflection theta. That is, in the moving coil we know the current, the pointer shows the deflection. So that deflection is, that is what is happening, why this theta deflection is taking place. You have to remember the angle of deflection is proportional to the current flowing in the coil. Therefore, I is proportional to theta. The correct answer is A. Next question. The ratio of voltage sensitivity Vs and current sensitivity Is of a moving coil galvanometer is, we know previously we have used this formula, Vx is equal to Cs by G. Here if there he is using, instead of Is, he is in the formula I have written Cs. Actually Cs is current sensitivity, Is given in the question. Therefore Vs by Cs is equal to 1 by G. So the ratio of moving coil galvanometer, the ratio is 1 over G. Correct answer is A. Next question. Question number 18. A 100 turns coil shown in the figure carries a current of 2 amps. The coil is shown here. A, B, C, D is a coil with 100 turns. That is, N is equal to number of turns is N. And the current flowing in this coil is 2 amps. 2 amps of current is flowing, and the field it produces the field of 0.2 Webers per meter square. The torque of a torque acting on the coil is, there are four options. You have to choose one. So before choosing, you have to work out this. So tau is the torque is given by, torque is equal to number of turns into NIAB. N is number of turns, I is current in amps, A is the cross sectional area, and B is the magnetic field. Sin 90, that is, it is perpendicular to the north pole and south pole. Therefore, it is given by, given N is 100, I is 2 amps into area is 8 centimeters by 10 centimeters. That is 8 into 10 is 80. This centimeters we have to convert into meters. So therefore we divided by 100 into 100. That is 8 by 100 into 10 by 100. That is 80 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into 0.2 Webers. That is B is 0.2 Webers. So simplifying, we get the answer as 0.32 Newton meters. So the answer is 0.32 Newton meters. So the correct answer is, that is, using the right hand rule, it is out of the paper. That is 0.32 Newton meters tending to rotate the side AC out of the page. So you have to apply the right hand rule. Now we will move to chapter number 5. Till now we have answered the questions from chapter number 4. Now you open your textbook chapter number 5. Let us answer this. Question number 19. A stationary magnet does not interact with. We should know a stationary magnet does not interact with, that is, it is a stationary charge. So a stationary magnet will not react with stationary charge. This we have to use understanding. Question number 20. The value of the magnetic susceptibility for a superconductor is, this is again involving remembering. You have to remember the value of the magnetic susceptibility for a superconductor is, we know that it is negative. So therefore correct answer is D. Question number 21. A bar magnet AB with magnetic moment M is cut into two equal parts perpendicular to its axis. One part is kept over the other so that end B is exactly over end A. What will be the magnetic moment of the combination so far? So a bar magnet has AB with magnet is cut into two parts. One part is kept over the other, that is exactly half. What will be its magnetic? So we know when the bar magnet is cut into two pieces and it is kept over that, the magnetic moment is given by vector M is equal to M by 2 plus minus M by 2. Therefore, the total magnetic moment is 0. The correct answer is A. Next question. Question number 22. Two unlike magnetic poles of strength 10 ampere meters each are held in air at a distance of 0.1 meter from each other. That means two unlike magnetic poles of strength 10 ampere meters each are held at a distance of 0.1 meter each other. What is the magnetic force of attraction between them? So you know, unlike poles attract. So we have to apply a formula. That is, formula in this case is vector F is equal to K into M1 M2 divided by R square, where K is a permeability constant is equal to mu naught in SI unit is mu naught over 4 pi, that is equal to 1 CGS. Therefore, the answer is D. Again, you please study and go through in chapter number 5, the behavior of magnetic dipoles. Next question. The SI unit of magnetic pole strength is, you have to remember, it is ampere meter, not ampere per meter, it is ampere dash meter. This also you have to remember. Question number 24. The susceptibility of a ferromagnetic material is Xi at 27 degrees centigrade. At what temperature will its susceptibility will be 0.5? This magnetic susceptibility and ferromagnetic material has been deleted in your Karnataka board subject physics, Karnataka board examination paper physics. But anyway, the NEET has included all the portions. It has not deleted anything. So I have worked out here. So we have to apply the formula Xi1 by Xi2 is equal to T2 by T1. So the temperature CUC is inverse of susceptibility. Therefore, Xi by 0.5 Xi, that is, so Xi2 is 0.5, Xi1 is Xi itself, that is equal to T by 300. Therefore, T will be is equal to 600 into K, or that is equal to 300, that is 327 degrees. 300 is 273 plus 27. Okay, that is why here T1 is 300, that is Kelvin. We are converting degrees centigrade into Kelvin. Therefore, 27 degrees centigrade will become 300 degrees Kelvin. Therefore, this answer will be T is equal to 600 Kelvin. Please work out in your rough sheet, and the answer is 327 degrees centigrade. So here you have to mark correctly, because to confuse you, all the temperatures are 600. It is the answer is 600 degrees Kelvin, but you have to convert it into centigrade. Therefore, the correct answer is B in terms of centigrade. This you have to be very careful for answering such type of questions. Now we will take up chapter number 6, that is electromagnetic induction. We have to remember some of the formulae used in electromagnetic induction. We know self-induction of solenoid is given by L is equal to mu naught N square pi into R square, where N is the number of turns and R is the radius. And straight wire is, for a straight line wire, it is given by L is equal to mu naught R divided by 2. Circular loop, it is L, capital L is equal to mu naught into N into pi into R divided by 2. Between two solenoids, magnetic moment is given by M is equal to mu naught N1 N2 A divided by L. That is where L is the distance between the two. Symbols, units and dimensions. In section 6.9, we will study about symbols, units and dimensions. The first parameter is magnetic flux. It is represented by phi b and its unit is Weber. Its dimensions are ml square t to the power of minus 2 a to the power of minus 1. Its relationship with area and field intensity is phi b is equal to b dot a. EMF is represented, induced, it is electromotive, it is called electromotive force. Its symbol is E. Sometimes we write as EMF or E, normal E. So we write E or E, and that is volt. Its unit is volt. Its dimensions are m L square t to the power of minus 3 a to the power of minus 1. The relationship between phi and EMF is given by E is equal to minus n of d phi by dt. Mutual inductance. Mutual inductance is represented by the symbol M, capital M, and its unit is Henry. Sometimes we write Henry as H. Therefore, the dimensions of mutual inductance are m L square t to the power of minus 2 a to the power of minus 2, and it is given by the equation E1 is equal to minus m12 into di2 by dt. Please note here E1 is the EMF induced in the coil number 1, and change of current is taking place in coil number 2. That is why we are writing E1 is equal to di2 by dt, and constant mutual inductance is between coil 1 and 2. This is written in this form. Self-inductance. Self-inductance is represented by symbol L, and its unit is Henry, and its dimensions are m L square t to the power of minus 2 a to the power of minus 2, and it is given by the equation E is equal to minus of L di by dt. Question number 25. Due to relative motion of a magnet with respect to a coil, an EMF is induced in the coil. Identify the principle involved. So this is the basic. So this magnetic moment, relative motion of magnet with respect to coil, when EMF is induced, we have to use the principle. We know the Faraday's law of electromagnetic. When a current, the motion due to induced current is given by the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. You have to remember the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So the correct answer is B. Question number 26. In Faraday's experiment on electromagnetic induction, more deflection will be shown by a galvanometer when. So, in Faraday's experiment on electromagnetic induction, more deflection will be shown by galvanometer when. What happens? That is, we have to understand the Faraday's law. That is given by E is equal to minus d phi by dt. This is the rate of change of flux. Flux variation with respect to time induces an EMF. That is the Faraday's law. So the correct answer is magnet is in accelerated motion towards the coil. Okay. Question number 27. If both the number of turns and core length of an inductor are doubled, see n is doubled, keeping the other factors constant, then its self-inductance will be. You have to use the formula. Remember the formula. So it is self-inductance is given by L is equal to mu naught into n square A by L, where mu naught is a permeability constant, n is the number of turns, A is the area of cross section, and divided by L. So it happens then, if both the turns and core length are increased, doubled, what happens? So when we double the number of turns and core length, see, when n becomes 2n, 2n square will be 4n, but that 4n is divided by, this becomes 2n, 4 is divided by 2, so this will be, L will be 2 times mu naught n square A by L. So it will be doubled, because L is also doubled, n is doubled, but n square is 2 into n. So therefore it is 4n square divided by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, hence it is doubled. Question number 28. Oscillating metallic pendulum in a uniform magnetic field directed perpendicular to the plane of oscillation. That is, we have to find the oscillating metallic pendulum in a uniform magnetic field directed perpendicular to the plane of oscillation. What happens? We should know. That is, it slows down. Next question. Question number 29. The self-inductance L of a solenoid of length L and area of cross-section A with a fixed number of turns N increases as. See, we have to use the formula of self-inductance of a solenoid. We know solenoid L is L inductance, self-inductance of solenoid L is given by L is equal to mu naught into N square into A divided by L, where this is the small n. Small l is the length of the solenoid. This capital L is the inductance, capital self-inductance. Capital L is equal to mu naught is the permeability, N is the number of turns, A is the cross-section area of the. So if you increase the area, the self-inductance increases. If you reduce L, also L increases. Therefore, L should decrease and A should increase for increasing the self-inductance. So the answer is B. L decreases and A increases. Next question. The mutual inductance M12 of coil 1 with respect to coil 2, four options are given here, A, B, C. So he has given option A is increases when they are brought nearer. That is also true. It depends on the current passing through the coil. It is not true. But both A and D. Now we have to read D also. Is the same as M21 of the coil 2 with respect to coil 1. So two options are correct here. Option A and option D. So let us understand. Mutual induction depends on the relative position and orientation. So A is correct. And according to reciprocity theorem, M12 is equal to M21 equal to M. So this is D is correct. So both A and D are correct. So this is two options question. Option C is correct. Question number 31. A square of side L meters lies in XY plane. So where the magnetic field is given by vector B is equal to B naught into 2I plus 3J plus 4K times Tesla. That is magnetic field is expressed as Tesla, where B naught is a constant. The magnitude of flux passing through the square is given by. So four options are given A, B, C, D. Now we have to analyze the formula. Now area, you see XY plane, length side is L. So XY plane is L into L. L square is the area, but vectorial is perpendicular, normal is K. So L square area is L square K, where K is the unit vector in a direction perpendicular to X and Y plane. So flux phi is given by B dot A, where B vector B is a magnetic field and A is the area. So we know we have to substitute the value of vector B, which is given in the equation. B naught into 2I plus 3J plus 4K into dot, into means in dot L square K. Now we have, because K is there, by multiplication 2I component of 2I will not be there, 3J it will not be there, only 4L square K dot K, that is 4 times B naught, that is outside B naught into 4 B naught L square K is the answer. So K we need not write, so we can write here 4 B naught K option is given. So option C is correct. So let us take the next example. Question number 32. A coil having an area A naught is placed in a magnetic field. Magnetic field changes from B naught to 4B naught in a time interval T. The EMF induced is coil is given by, we have to apply the formula E is equal to minus of d phi by dt. That is equal to d phi by dt. Phi is changing from b naught to 4b naught. So it will be difference of the two. 4b naught minus b naught is 3a naught b naught into t. This is the answer. So option A is the correct answer. Let us go to next problem. 33. The direction of induced current is such that it opposes the very cause of the current produces it. This is the law of, we have to remember which law is that. It is opposes, you see, it induces the current such that it opposes the very cause of it is the Lenz's law. See, it opposes the very cause of the current minus it. In the formula, if you remember, it is Lenz's law. Next question. A metallic cylinder is held vertically and then a small magnet is dropped along with its axis. So small magnet, you see, magnet is moving along with the axis. It will fall with option A, acceleration A greater than G, where G is the gravitational force. Option B is acceleration A is less than G. Option C is acceleration A is equal to G. And option D is constant velocity A is equal to 0. That is acceleration is equal to 0. So therefore, the option is the acceleration will be less than the gravitational force. Option B is correct. Because of the eddy current. 35. An EMF of 200 volts is induced in a circuit when current in the circuit falls from 5 amps to 0 amps. So change in current is 5 and 0 amps. In T is 0.1 seconds. The self-inductance of the circuit. Now we have to use the formula. We know L is equal to minus E by di by dt. That is equal to L inductance is equal to E by delta I by delta T. Electronic, that is voltage. E here is voltage. E is given. E is 200. It is 200 volts divided by change in current is 5 to 0. That is 5 amps in 0.1 second. So in the denominator, this is 5 divided by 0.1. When we multiply it, it becomes 4 henries. So answer is C. Next question. The magnetic flux linked with a coil at any instant t is given by an equation phi. Flux phi is given by phi is equal to 6t square minus 8t plus 5 Webers. So this equation of flux is given. So we have to find the EMF induced in the coil at t equals 2 seconds. Okay, so we have to find that. We have to put t is equal to 2 seconds. First, we know that induced EMF is minus d phi by dt, change of flux. That is equal to, we have to find the differential of this. So differential of 6t square is 12t minus 8t, 8. And minus of minus is plus 8. It becomes minus 12t. This minus is differential of 6t square is minus outside. 12t plus minus into minus is plus 8. So that is equal to, if you put the value of t as 2 seconds, we get minus 24 plus 8 is equal to minus 16. So the answer is A. So you have to apply and remember the formula and you have to understand the problem. Next. A small piece of metal wire is dragged across the gap between the poles of a magnet in 0.4 seconds. So, piece of metal wire between the poles of a magnet. Here the wire is moving, okay, in 0.4 seconds. If the change in magnetic flux of wire is 8 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Webers, then EMF induced in the wire is. So here change means d phi by dt. Okay, you have to write change in flux is d phi. Delta phi is 8 into 10 to the power of minus 4. We have to apply the formula. E is equal to delta phi by delta t. Delta phi is 8 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Webers given, divided by delta t is equal to, here it is in 0.4 second. Delta t is 0.4. If you simplify, we get the answer as 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 volts. The answer is D. Next question. 38. If number of turns per unit length of a coil of a solenoid is doubled, keeping the other dimension same, then its self-inductance will be. So here the number of turns n is increased. So L is, all others are constant. Therefore L is directly proportional to n square. Here doubled, n is doubled means you have to put n is equal to 2n. So it becomes 2n square means 4 times. It should be 4 times. The correct answer is 4 times. You have to understand, n is double means n now in the second case becomes n will be n is equal to 2n. 2n whole square is 4n. So it increases 4 times. Question number 39. The energy stored in a coil carrying current, the energy stored in coil carrying current I is U. Energy is U. If the current is halved, the energy stored in the coil will be. Again, we have to remember the formula. Energy stored in a coil, magnetic coil, is U is equal to half Li square, where U is the energy, half is L is the inductance, and I is the current. So when current is half means I becomes I by 2. Therefore, the formula changes to half into L will be same. I becomes I by 2. So I by 2 whole square. So substituting, we get half into L into I square by 4. So that will be is equal to U. L square by 2 is U. U by 4. So you have to remember Li square by 2 you have to take. Okay, then only U by 4. Answer B is the correct answer. Next question. Question number 40. A conducting square loop of side L and resistance R moves in its plane with a uniform velocity V perpendicular to one of its sides. A magnetic induction B, constant in time and space, that is B is constant, pointing a perpendicular to its plane of the loop, exists everywhere. The current induced in the loop is given by. So current induced in the loop is, we have to apply this formula. What is happening? Conductor of square loop L and resistance R moves in a plane with uniform velocity. You note here, uniform velocity perpendicular to one of its sides. So the magnetic induction B will be in time and space perpendicularly exist everywhere. The current induced is 0 because it is moving with the constant element. So no flux change is taking place because magnetic field exists everywhere and is constant in time and space. So there should be change of flux for inducing the current. Because there is no change in flux, there is current induced is 0. So option D is the correct answer. Next question. Question number 41. A conducting square loop of side L and resistance R moves in a plane with a uniform velocity. Here again you see uniform velocity perpendicular to one of its sides. The magnetic induction B, constant in time and space, pointing perpendicular and into the plane at the loop, exists everywhere of the loop as shown in the figure. The induced EMF, here it is induced EMF, therefore is BVL. This formula you have to remember. Induced EMF, previously it was induced current, it was induced EMF. Induced EMF formula is VBL. You have to understand and remember it. Next question. A wheel with 10 metallic spokes, each of 5 meter long, is rotated with a speed of 120 revolutions per minute in a plane normal to the Earth's magnetic field at a place. If the magnitude of the field is 0.4 Gauss, the induced EMF between the axle and the rim of the wheel is given by, now we have to apply the formula. E is equal to BL square into pi V. So it is given, it is 0.4 Gauss, means 0.4 into 10 to the power of minus 4. And L is 0.5 meters, that is 0.5 whole square, it is given, into pi is 3.14 into velocity is 120 revolutions per minute. Therefore, it is 120 divided by 60. Simplifying, we get the answer as the induced EMF as 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 4 minus 5. 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 5 volts. Next question. In a circuit with a coil of resistance 2 ohms, the magnetic flux changes from 2 Weber to 10 Weber. So flux change is 2 to 10, that means 8 Webers in 0.2 seconds. The charge that flows in the coil during this time is, we have to apply the formula. dq is equal to d phi by dt. Well, delta q, I read it as dq or delta q, both are same. Therefore, delta q is equal to change in charge equals change in flux, delta phi divided by the resistance. So delta phi is 10 minus 2 and the time is, that resistance is R. R is 2 ohms, that is equal to 4 coulombs. Okay, 4 coulombs. Here we are not use the time. If we use the time, it becomes dq by dt will be the current. Question number 44. The magnetic flux through a circuit of resistance R changes by an amount delta phi in time delta t. Then the total quantity of electric charge Q, which is passing during this time through any point of the circuit, is given by. We have to remember the formula. So let us apply the formula. We know E is equal to induced EMF, E is equal to I into resistance, and I is equal to dq by dt. Okay. Now d phi by dt, E is equal to, is also given by d phi by dt. So d phi by dt is equal to, okay, for d phi by dt is dq by dt into R. That is dq is equal to dq by dt into R. Therefore, d phi is equal to dq into R, change in charge into the resistance. Therefore, dq is equal to d phi by R. This formula we have used previously in this problem number 44. That is, we have found dq is equal to d phi by R. So here the formula is D. Answer is D. D. You have to remember and interpret it properly. Important formulae. Let us recapitulate all the formulae used in chapter 7, alternating voltage. The symbol for alternating voltage is V and its dimensions are ml square t to the power of minus 3 a to the power of minus 1, and its unit is volts. And the formulae or relationship or equations is V is equal to V naught into sine of omega t plus phi, or V is equal to V naught into cos of omega t plus phi. and Vrms is given by Vrms is equal to V naught or Vm by root 2, and that is equal to 0.707 times V naught. Alternating current, its symbol is I, dimensions are A or ampere, and unit is ampere. I is equal to I naught into sine omega t plus phi, or I is equal to I naught into cos of omega t plus phi, and Irms is equal to I naught divided by root 2, that is equal to 0.707 times I naught. Resistance R is given by ohms. For R, there is no phase difference between voltage and current. Inductive reactance XL is equal to ml square t to the power of minus 3 a to the power of minus 2. It is represented as ohms. XL is equal to omega L. For inductance, voltage leads the current by 90 degrees, that is pi by 2. Capacitive reactance XC, symbol is XC, and dimensions are ml square t to the power of minus 3 into a to the power of minus 2, and its unit is ohms. Xc is given by Xc is equal to 1 over omega c. For C, current leads the voltage by 90 degrees or pi by 2. Please note the difference between inductive reactance and capacitive reactance. Impedance Z. Impedance is represented by symbol Z, that its dimensions are ml square t to the power of minus 3 a to the power of minus 2, and its unit is ohms. Impedance in a resistance and inductive circuit is RL circuit is ZL is equal to under root R square plus XL square, and ZC, that is in impedance in a capacitive RC circuit is under root R square plus XC square, and in case of inductance and capacitance circuit ZLC is equal to under root XL square minus XC square. And for RLC circuit in series, Z is equal to under root R square plus within brackets XL minus XC whole square. Phase relationship. For LCR circuit, if F is greater than FR, that is FR is resonant frequency, phi is given by phi is equal to tan inverse of XL minus XC divided by R. That is also written as tan inverse of VL minus VC over VR, where XL is the inductive reactance, XC is capacitive reactance, VL is the voltage drop or potential drop across inductance, VC is the potential drop across capacitance, and VR is the potential drop across resistance. If resonant frequency is greater than F normal frequency, phi is given by phi is equal to tan inverse of XC minus XL divided by R. That is also equal to tan inverse of VC minus VL divided by VR. Power factor. Power factor is dimensionless. Power factor is cos phi. Cos phi, where phi is the phase difference. We will continue in this slide with important formulae. Resonant frequency. Resonant frequency is represented by symbol omega naught or omega r, that is equal to t to the power of minus 1. That is hertz. Its unit is hertz. Omega naught is equal to 1 over root of L into C. That is for series resonant circuit, for series RLC circuit. Quality factor. Quality factor is represented by symbol Q, and its dimensions are, it is dimensionless. and there is no unit for quality factor. Therefore, it is a relationship with other parameter is Q is given by Q is equal to omega R, where omega R is the resonant frequency into L over R. That is also given by 1 over omega R into CR. This is here C is the capacitance. That is also given represented by omega R, omega the resonant frequency, divided by 2 into delta omega. Here delta omega is the bandwidth of the resonant circuit. Therefore, that is also given by 1 over R into under root L by C. Power dissipated in an AC circuit. W, it is power is represented by letter W, and its dimensions are ml square into T to the power of minus 3, and its unit is watt. In a pure inductive and capacitive circuit, power dissipated is 0. Please note, very important. Power dissipated in inductive and capacitive circuit is 0. In a pure resistive circuit, power is I squared R by 2. In combination of LCR circuit, it is given by power dissipated is given by the formula Vrms into Irms into cos phi. Frequency of oscillations. It is represented by F or V or nu. Most of the places you are using the letter representation V. It is T to the power of minus 1. It is hertz. Therefore, Fr is equal to 1 over, it is given by the relationship oscillation 1 over 2 pi root LC. And energy of an ideal LC oscillator is U is U. It is represented by, energy is represented by U, and its dimensions are ml square into T to the power of minus 2. Its unit is joules. It is given by U is equal to half Q square by 2 plus half Li square. That is in energy across a capacitor and energy across an inductor. That is also given by Qm square. That is maximum charge divided by 2C whole square. That is the energy across a capacitor. Maximum energy across a capacitor or a maximum energy across an inductor. That inductor is factor is 1 over 2 into Li m square. Now transformer ratio. Transformer ratio is ratio of primary current to secondary current, that is IP by IS, or secondary voltage into divided by primary voltage. You see here current, in case of current, primary is in numerator. In the case of voltage, when we are expressing in terms of voltage, it is V secondary by V primary, and also in terms of number of turns, it is number of turns in secondary to number of turns in primary. This you please remember. Efficiency of transformer. Efficiency we know is given by output by input. Efficiency definition is output by input. It is represented by a symbol eta. That is, it is dimensionless. There is no unit for efficiency. It is sometimes said percentage of output to input. It is given by VSIS, that is secondary voltage into secondary current, divided by primary voltage into primary current. That is equal to output power by input power. Now we will take up questions from chapter number 7 on alternating current. An AC voltage source of variable angular frequency omega and fixed amplitude V connected in series with a capacitance and an electric bulb of resistance R. When omega is increased, so here in the circuit, the given supply frequency is omega and supply voltage is V, and the circuit is R and C are in series, and So we should find out what happens when we increase omega. Okay. So the answer is, we have to remember, when we increase the frequency, the brightness of the bulb increases. Therefore, correct answer is the bulb glows brighter. Next question. The variation of instantaneous current I, function of t, I within brackets t, and the instantaneous EMF, that is E within brackets t, that is E is a function of time. This is the AC voltage varying with time in a circuit is as shown in the figure. Please see the figure here. This is x-axis, that is omega t. 0 is here origin, omega t is x-axis, and this vertical line arrow with arrow perpendicular to the x-axis is a y-axis. So here this is y-axis is amplitude and x-axis is time or frequency, omega t, angular frequency. Now he says the current waveform of the voltage, instantaneous EMF and the current are shown here. The dark line is EMF. So the waveform of E is a sine wave here. Okay, this is a sine wave E, that is EMF. E is EMF. Now current wave is also shown in the diagram by a dotted line. This dotted line starts here in the negative. This is the Y positive, this is Y negative, down is Y negative. Current starts in the negative point and it increases. You see, it increases from negative and changes over to positive. It becomes positive here up to the full this wave above x-axis, and then again it becomes negative. Whereas the EMF, instantaneous EMF, starts at 0. It increases first up to E, it is positive. It increases, reaches maximum and then starts decreasing, but still positive. Up to pi, it is positive. After pi, it is negative waveform. So it becomes negative maximum here and again becomes 0 at this point. This is the instantaneous waveform of E and the current. Now the question is, which of the following statements is correct? Correct, we have to find out. First we have analyzed the waveform. Option A, the voltage lags behind the current. That means the voltage starts after current. It is not true because voltage is 0. When voltage is 0, the current is minus. So current lags behind. Okay, current is after, when E is 0, current is minus. So current lags behind voltage. So voltage leads. So voltage leads and current lags. Therefore, statement B is correct. The voltage leads and current by pi by 2. You see, pi by 2 is here. So the voltage leads the current. You see, if you take 0 axis, the current is 0, 0 at 0, whereas sorry, the voltage is 0 at the origin, whereas the current is 0 after 90 degrees, that is after pi by 2. Since the voltage leads the current by pi by 2. This is the correct answer. Next question. High voltage transmission line is preferred as. So a weak current flows through the transmission line, hence low power loss. So our objective is to have as much low losses in the transmission line. Low loss should be there. That is why we use, the current should be small. If a small current flows through the transmission line, the losses are less. And option D is correct. Question number 48. In series RLC circuit, the quality factor can be improved by. So this we have to remember the formula. Quality factor Q is equal to 1 by R, where Q is the quality factor, R is the resistance, L is inductance and C is the capacitance. The formula is Q is equal to 1 by R into square root of LC. So we can improve Q by reducing R, by decreasing R. So the answer is answer C. If you reduce R, quality factor improves. Question number 49. When AC source is connected across series RLC circuit combination, maximum power loss will occur provided we have to analyze I naught is equal to Im by Im. I naught is equal to maximum current is equal to E naught by R. And the correct answer is current and voltages are in phase. If both current and voltages are in phase, then maximum power loss will occur. In RLC, series AC circuit impedance cannot be increased by. In RLC circuit, the impedance cannot be increased by. We know we have to apply the formula Z is equal to R square, square root of R square plus XL minus XC square. So, increasing the voltage. So if you cannot. So, impedance is not a function of voltage. Hence, impedance cannot be increased by increase. If you increase the voltage, there won't be increase of impedance. This is the meaning. The question, please read once again. Impedance cannot be increased by increasing the voltage of the source. Question number 51. In a purely resistive AC circuit, the current is in phase with the EMF. We have to remember option A is the correct answer. 52. Question number 50. A capacitor C has reactance X. If the capacitance and frequency double, then capacitive reactance will be. Please read the question again. A capacitance has a capacitive reactance. Yes. So here he is increasing the capacity C to 2C and frequency to 2F. So we have to use the form. We know the formula XC. That is the capacity reactance is given by the formula 1 over 2 pi FC. Please note I have used the symbol F for frequency. In some of the books it is used as nu or V, small v. But here to be very clear I have used F. F here stands for frequency. Therefore XC, the capacitive reactance is equal to 1 over 2 pi. Now in the given case F becomes 2F and C becomes 2C. Now we have to write down. So 1 over 2 pi F into C remains as it is. 2 into 2 becomes 4. Therefore, the new reactance after doubling the capacitance and frequency is Xc by 4. This is given in option D. Reactance, next question. Reactance of a capacitor of capacitance C for an alternating AC of frequency 400 by pi hertz is 25 ohms. The value of C is, we have to calculate out the value of C in terms of when Xc is given. Xc is given as 25 ohms. Okay, now we will apply the formula. Xc is equal to 1 over 2 pi Fc. So that will be equal to 1 over 2 pi into F is 400 by pi. It is given 400 by pi hertz into 25. 25 is Xc, the value of Xc. This is cross multiplying, rewriting the formula. When we take this, pi into pi gets cancelled. and it becomes 2 into 400 into 25, that is 50 microfarads. Next question. The core of transformer is laminated so as to, the question, read the question again. The core of transformer is laminated so as to. That means he is asking the purpose of using laminations in the core of a transformer. Why do you use a laminated core for in a transformer? It is, so many options are given, but the correct answer you have to remember it as reduce the energy loss due to eddy current. Option D is the correct answer. Next question. The ratio of number of turns of primary coil to secondary coil in a transformer is 2:3. That means N1 to N2. N1 is the primary turns in a coil of a transformer. N2 is the number of turns. So N1 is 2 and N2, that is secondary number of turns, is 3. If a cell of 6 volts is connected across the primary, that is V1 is equal to, that is primary voltage, Vp is equal to 6. The voltage across the secondary will be, what will be there? So we know that N1 by N2 is equal to V2 by V1. That is, if we calculate V2, the answer is 9 volts. Next question. In a transformer, the number of turns of primary and secondary coil are 500 and 500 and 400 respectively. So N1 is 500, N2 is 400. If 220 volts is applied to the primary, that means Vp or V1 is equal to 220 volts. What is the coil? The ratio of the currents in the primary, the coil is, what is the ratio? We have to find out. We know from the formula primary current Ip divided by Is is equal to Vs, secondary voltage, divided by primary voltage. That is equal to secondary number of turns divided by the primary number of turns. That is equal to, the secondary number of turns is 400 and primary number of turns is 500. It is given. So we need not use 220 volts here, because he is asking only the ratio of the turns, Ns to Np, that is equal to 400 by 500, that is equal to 4:5. This is the simple answer. A is the correct answer. We have to remember Ip by Is is equal to reverse Vs by Vp equals Ns by Np. This formula you have to remember. Question number 57. An LC circuit contains 10 millihenry and 25 millifarads capacitor with given initial charge. So it is a LC circuit where inductance is 10 millihenry and capacitance is 25 microfarad. The resistance is negligible, that is R is equal to 0. The energy stored is completely magnetic at time in millisecond is given by. Okay, so we have to find the 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 energy stored in magnetic. When is he is asking, when is the magnetic energy stored? So the time is measured from the instant when circuit is closed. It is a note. So we have to analyze when the energy is electrostatic and when is magnetic energy occurring in the alternating voltage. So at t is equal to 0, t by 2 and t, energy is electrostatic. We have to remember and analyze. And similarly, at t is equal to t by 4, 3t by 4 and 5t by 4 up to etc. etc. energy is totally magnetic. So when the energy is electrostatic, energy is total magnetic. These two are the timings of electrostatic energy, and because you know in an oscillator circuit the magnetic energy and electrostatic energy both are taking place. Therefore, T is equal to 1 over F, that is equal to 2 pi into root LC pi over 1000. That is irrelevant. You have to identify this. So this option is given. So electromagnetic. He is asked when is magnetic. So the second line is correct. Where is the second line? Say T by 4. It is C. So answer C is the correct answer. Next question. The RMS voltage of a waveform shown is, so the given waveform is given. It is a rectangular wave or a square wave. Square wave because here top is flat and then it is suddenly falling and it is negative. So plus 10 here and it comes at this instant it becomes to minus 10. So it is oscillating between plus 10 and minus 10 square wave. We know that RMS value of a square or rectangular wave is I naught or I average, that is plus 10. So that is equal to plus 10 is the answer. Next question 59. In a series LR circuit, the inductive reactance is equal to the resistance R of the circuit. And EMF E is equal to E naught cos omega t is applied to the circuit. The power consumed in the circuit is, we have to find the power consumed. For that, we have to find the impedance. Impedance is given by Z is equal to square root of R square plus XL square. So, but inductive reactance is equal to the resistance. So, XL is equal to R. That is R square plus X square is equal to R square root 2. So, we have to find out I naught. I naught is given by E naught divided by Z. So, by multiplying Vrms into Irms, we will get the correct answer. The correct answer is C. That is E naught square by 4R. Next question. Question number 60. 160 volts 100 watt bulb is to be connected to 100 volts 50 hertz. So 100 volts 50 hertz is an AC wave source. The potential drop across inductor is F is equal to frequency is equal to 50 hertz. We have to find out the potential. What is the final voltage? That is VL across what is the inductor. The potential drop across the inductor is, we have to find out. So we know, please see the circuit diagram here. The diagram is not given in the problem. We have to analyze. For analytic purposes, AC wave 100 volt sin omega t is supply voltage. AC supply voltage is here and given resistance is 60 ohms, 60 ohms 100 watt bulbs. That is 60 ohms is given and VL is equal to what we have to find out. So analyzing, we get V is equal to VL is equal V square is equal to VR square plus VL square. So therefore VL is equal to rearranging V minus VR under root. Therefore substituting VL, so V is 100 volts and VL is 60 volt. So therefore that is equal to VR is 60. Sorry, this is VL is equal to square root of 100 square minus 60 square. That is equal to, see here it becomes 100 square. You can simplify is 100 square is 10,000 minus 3,600. 60 square is 3,600. That becomes 6,400. Square root of 6,400. Therefore, square root of 6,400 is 64 is 8 and 100 is 10. That becomes VL is equal to 80. This is the answer. A typical sample of a model answer sheet is shown on your screen. On the screen, the questions are appearing on the in the first column. That is question number 1 to 15 first table, 16 to 30 in the second table, and 31 to 45 in the third table. The first column is question number. The second, the fourth, and sixth and eighth column are your options, choices, your choices. You have to, students are required to fill up the correct answer using black or blue pen in the column number 3 if A answer is correct, or if B is there, it is in the column number 5, and if C is your answer, column number 6, that is 7, column number 7, and column number 9 as the case may be. For this video, I have shown all the answers, typical answer sheet. Please go through it and practice. I once again request you to answer and attend the mock test of National Testing Agency. Thank you and all the best.